Hi, my name is Tracy Emmons, and I'm the biology coordinator here at Sandhills Community College. And I'd like to welcome you to your first anatomy and physiology course of a 2-semester course. I'd like to just give you a little general background information to get you started in this course. You'll have an additional video labeled Meet Your Instructor, where you'll get more personalized information from the person that will be running your course. So after the welcome and the announcements, I'd like for us to look at step 1 of the things that we ask you to take care of when you first enter the course. You have a list of class materials, how to be successful, finding your way around the course, syllabus, schedule of assignments, regulations, governance statements, and the attendance policy, and course objectives. I'd like to click on finding your way around this course for just a moment and go over it briefly. This just gives you an idea of what to expect in this course. We have 8 lecture units, and they can be found in the upper half of the Moodle course. There are 10 lab lessons, and they're spread across 14 or 15 lab meetings, and they can be found in the lower half of our Moodle course. The lab contents is organized into 5 units, and each unit concludes with a lab practical. The Unit 1 lab practical is an online test, while the other 4 lab practicals will be face-to-face. The skeletal system lab practical will be a verbal test, and the other 3 will be written. Be sure the collapsed folders are open when you're looking for either lecture or lab content. If you cannot see content or assignments, the folder's probably closed. So just click on the arrow next to and/or the name of the folder to open it up. So that's just some general information. I'm going to give you a little more general information, but before we do, I just want to make sure you see that you have an orientation quiz that you have to do for this class. You have an introduction quiz that you need to do for this class, and then you have this additional information. I'd like to click on the thank you to our course contributors, because I just want you all to take a moment to know how hard we've worked on Bio 168 and 169. It took us a year and a half to completely overhaul anatomy and physiology. There's the list of the names of the folks that contributed to this project. And for you all, I'd like you to know that there's a lot of expertise behind your 2 courses. There's not a single word in Bio 168 or 169 that one of these people or me has touched. And combined together, we have over 100 years of teaching experience. We have 7 master's degrees in biology and or biology education, 1 master's degree in nutrition, 1 doctorate, 1 nursing degree, and a year in medical school. It was a very successful year, but our faculty member changed his mind about that career path at the end of that year. I tried to calculate the person hours it took to complete this renewing of our A&P course, and it was just too much. We met weekly or bi-weekly for 15 months for approximately 2 hours each meeting. And that's not really difficult to calculate, but it was everything we did in the courses. We developed every lesson, every assignment. We reviewed everything multiple times, and then we divvied up and completed the courses as students. So we'll just say that it took a lot of time and devotion, and that way maybe you won't be surprised when we expect you guys to work hard in these courses as well. Here's a culminating project that I want to point out. This is your notebook. 2 things that you buy for the course are lecture notes and a lab manual. And at the end of the semester, you'll mesh those 2 things together and you'll turn them in as a culminating project. The reason being is throughout the entire semester, we want you adding to those notes, working with those notes, and when you're finished with the course, we want your notebook to be something that you carry forward that helps you in future courses. So to that end, we have you turn it in for a grade. Your specific instructor will give you more information about that culminating project. I want you guys to look at the first unit as just an example of all of our units. The little arrow, when it's down, the unit is open. So you have your objectives. You will have your specific due dates here so that you can see those even when the folder is closed. You have digital notes. In addition to the hard copy that you buy in the bookstore that we will ask you to turn in at the end of the semester, you also have the files and you have a study guide. That's true for each one of your units. And it's right here in this first link. Then you go into lecture content, and these are lessons. Each set of lessons has a reference chapter in your A&P OpenStax textbook. This is something you do not have to buy. You can read it online or you can download it to your device. As you go through the lessons, we want you to have your notebook out because your notes follow along exactly with these lessons. In your notes, you'll notice that there's a few blanks, and that's just to kind of keep you focused and paying attention. And you'll need to review the lesson and fill in your blanks that you find within the notes that you buy from the bookstore. In addition to that, write down things that you think are important in the margin. Write down things that you think will apply to what you're going to do in the future, that you think is important. It's nice to see people that go above the requirement of just filling in the blanks in the notebook. Also, after you've read the information and you've looked at your notebook for the introduction, you'll click Next and you'll go to the next topic in this lesson. When you finish with that information, you'll click Next. But just notice that anytime there's a video in the lesson, we give you important points and tell you to add to them as you watch the videos. So this important point list is not meant to be comprehensive. It's meant to be an outline for you guys to add things to. Periodically, as you go along, you will run into questions. Those questions are there to provide you with a grade for doing your lesson. Let me go back. So each lesson has information. It corresponds to your notes. You add to your notes that you buy in the bookstore from a lesson. You also answer questions from lessons so that you get a grade for doing it. Once you've done both of these lessons, your graded assignments will become unlocked and you'll be able to complete them. You will have writing assignments and you will have quizzes for each one of your units. We don't require you to put your notes away when you take the quizzes. We do give you a time limit because we want you to study for your quiz, be familiar with the information. So we don't give you enough time to look up all the answers, but we do allow you to have the notes out. Even though we let you have your notes out, we do lock your browser because we don't want you Googling answers. We've put in your notes the things that we think are important for our students going forward into the various things that you guys can go forward to. We've put that in the lessons, in the notes, in the assignments, and we quiz you on it. So we don't want you Googling. We want you working with the material. Basically, I kind of describe it as I want you to really wrestle with this information, work with it. Try to see connections, try to figure out ways that the information connects one idea to the next. Your writing assignments will have you put voice to those connections. You'll get this particular writing assignment, you have a scenario where you have a series of posts that you have to put together. And this assignment has to do with homeostatic mechanisms. homeostatic mechanisms are discussed in the second lesson of this particular unit. Then we have you apply it in this writing assignment, hoping for you to, again, work with that material and show that you have an understanding of that material. Mine is in teacher view, but when you have any writing assignment, if you click on grade, I think yours just says grade instead of grade users. If you click on grade, the marking guide that we use to grade that assignment will come up. Let me just scan down near the bottom so that you can see where the labs start. So here's Lab Unit 1. It's lab lessons 1 through 2. Here's your schedules. Remember that your lab is the face-to-face meeting. If you're in a hybrid, your lecture's online, your lab is face-to-face. If you're in the fully traditional, both your lecture and your lab are face-to-face. You will have post-labs and pre-labs as well as the activities that you do in class, but I'll leave that to your lab instructors to explain in more detail. I just wanted you all to take a look at that. I do want to mention that you will have a midterm and a final exam study guide. Those will be in the notebooks, the lecture notes that you buy from the bookstore, but we'll also be posting them here. We still need to put the final exam study guide in there, but it's in your lesson notes that you'll buy from the bookstore. But anyway, you'll have a study guide that will direct you specifically to what you need to study for both your midterm and your final exams. And regardless of whether you take a hybrid format or completely traditional format, you will be taking the midterm and the final in a face-to-face setting with no notes. So I think that takes care of the things I wanted to mention in an introductory video. I just want to wish you the best in this course. Commit the time to it, work with the information, and I feel confident you will do well.